Alright, y'all. I've noticed that there's a whole lot of people in the forums that are trying to get into monitor breeding, and I haven't done a whole lot to reach out and kind of show some stuff that I've done, some lessons I've learned. So I decided to start today with my incubators. There are many ways to incubate monitor eggs. I do water monitor eggs. This way I figured out works for me, so I'll share it. Anybody's more than welcome to comment on my setup, how they do it. You know, it's all good. More discussion is better. I use usually at a time several of the XL sim containers, so I went with a large broken drink cooler here. And what I did was I bought some 6-inch heat tape, and I taped it with this aluminum kind of heat resistant tape, starting here, going all the way around the bottom, all the way back up here to the top. And that is plugged into a Herpstat 2. This Herpstat actually runs both of my incubators. The reason these drink coolers are so nice is because they have fans in them. It circulates the air extraordinarily well. I don't have many containers in here right now, but you know, normally I have 4 or 5 going, and I leave the thermocouple to the Herpstat right in the middle of the incubator. Now, what a lot of people do, they say you've got to put the thermostat into one of the bins. I do not, and that's because this is a large incubator. And if I were to put that thermostat into really any of these, it's going to be a heat gradient from the top to the bottom. So if the thermostat was in this middle one here, my egg boxes on the bottom are going to get much hotter than the ones up here, because there's going to be a lot more heat coming off that heat tape regardless of the fan. I have found just dangling it in the middle works for me. All the heat boxes stay a level temp. Not trying to say the other way is wrong. This is just how I do it. I use the sim containers. I put a little bit of water in the bottom. I never have to replace this throughout the entire 230, 240 day incubation period that I use. I do use Glad Wrap on top of it to help hold in humidity. And I also found that these little clips help hold the lid down. I found this to work very well for me. I do not put holes in the top like some people do. I do burp them once a week, maybe twice a week. If they start to get really big and puffed up like these guys, I'll burp this thing 2 or 3 times a week just to make sure those eggs aren't building up too much pressure. I did learn the hard way. Putting 4 of those clips on one on each corner was not a good idea. I lost 8 black dragon eggs in 1 week because the pressure built up. And I found that 1 clip on each of the short sides right in the middle leaves just enough air exchange that I should only have to burp it once, maybe twice a week. One other thing I do, I have my other incubator. As the eggs begin to pip, I like to take them and I put them in another container with sphagnum moss. I put 2 clips on the side. You can see one guy has already popped out. And in this container, I do put the Herpstat thermocouple in there because I have found that this wet sphagnum moss will not hold temperature very well if I do not have a thermocouple in there. I didn't have anything negative happen there, but I did notice that the box was quite a bit cooler than I wanted it to be. And the reason I take the pipped eggs and I put them in here is because when they hatch, I do not want them to disturb any of the other eggs that haven't pipped yet. So another thing, I like to sphagnum moss because, you know, sometimes I can't get right to the babies. This baby just popped out within the last probably 30-45 minutes, so it's not a big deal. But I find that normally they'll be buried under that moss. It probably makes them feel really safe. It's a nice, warm, damp place for them to get. The humidity is very high in this box. I do not have Glad Wrap on this box. I do have holes. There are holes in this box so that as they hatch, they have fresh air. There's also a fan in that incubator. It's just another busted drink cooler that I picked up off Marketplace. And so I just pick them out. And sometimes as soon as they're out of the egg, they're a little angsty and bitey, but we'll see. So I try to stress him out as little as possible. He's a little wary, but he's not being too bad. He will probably try to bite me. They do that immediately after hatching, but he's got to go back. He's got to go in with his brothers and sisters, so let's pick him up. Nope, doesn't look like he's going to really try to bite me too bad. So that's my incubator setup. I take the empty egg out, I clean out all the goop behind it, and I'll put that other pipped egg back in until that lizard is ready to come out. Reach out with any questions. Anybody has any concerns, feel free to chime in as well. Let's have an open discussion about incubating and incubating boxes, because I know there's a lot of different methods out there.